Hello guys, in this video we are going to see about enzyme immobilization techniques. First, let's understand the word enzyme. Enzyme is a biocatalyst. That means they are special proteins which speed up chemical reactions in living systems, and we use all these enzymes in many industries. But sometimes these free enzymes are unstable, they are hard to separate, and they are very costly. And that's where the concept of immobilization, technique of immobilization comes in. Enzyme immobilization meaning fixing enzymes on or within a solid support so they can be reused without losing activity. To understand better, think of it like a water filter. Without a filter, dirt keeps passing into the water, but with a filter, the dirt is trapped and only clean water comes out. The same way, immobilization helps us trap enzymes in one place so that they can be used again and again and they work efficiently. As I said before, there are a lot of advantages for these enzyme immobilization comparing with the free enzymes here because they are more stable, they can be easily recovered, and they are cost effective. I hope you remember the reactions which happens in enzyme reactions, like enzyme reacts with the substrate to give the product as well as the enzyme again. So this part, the enzyme is coming again. This is the recovery of the enzyme, and this is sometimes difficult in the case of free enzymes, but when we use the immobilization technique, we can recover it easily. So where do we apply these immobilized enzymes? In food industry, in pharmaceutical companies or pharmaceutical industries, biotechnology, diagnostics, wastewater treatment, and microbiology. There are a lot of applications for this. Today in this video, we are going to see the methods of enzyme immobilization. There are mainly 5 methods here. I have made an image for you. It's an AI generated image, so there are light mistakes here. So here it should be enzyme. It should be enzyme, it's not support. Just change that. And if you see, this image can be a little bit detailedly explained because it's covalent bonding. We need to specify the bonding here. So this is a slight wrong image. I will draw and show you the correct image when I teach you. So coming to the first method, that is adsorption. In this method, what we do is that the enzyme attached to the surface of carriers like charcoal, clay, alumina, or glass beads. The binding happens through weak forces here, like van der Waals forces, hydrogen bonds, and ionic bonds. And for example, if you need to understand this, it's just like when you touch chalk powder, it lightly sticks to your hand, but since the bond is weak, it can easily fall off. We don't have a glue or we don't attach the chalk powder to our hand. It's just like it's just superficially attached to our hand. And this method is very simple and inexpensive, but due to this weak attachment or weak bonds, it's easy for the enzyme to leak. So our main motto is to fix the enzyme in a particular or a particular pace. But in this method, what happens is that due to this weak bonds, the enzyme may get detached from it easily. If you want to draw and show you how it is, so it's like this is the support we have, and these are the enzymes. Okay, these are the enzymes. So we can see that the enzymes are just attached in this surface. Okay, these are the adsorption point for them. As we know, the absorption means something is being bent inside or something, like it's absorbing it, like sponge is absorbing water. But here it's only the outer layer interaction, like physical interaction of the enzyme and the support system. So these are having a very weak bond, that is hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds, and van der Waals bonds. And due to these weak bonds, they can easily come out of it, the support system. That's why there are a slight disadvantage for this method. And then comes our enzymes next method, that is covalent bonding. In this covalent bonding, the enzymes are covalently linked to carriers like agarose, silica, cellulose, or synthetic polymers. To understand this, think of it like cement joining bricks. Okay, we have 2 bricks and we join with the help of cement. We join it with cement. And here the advantage is that they are very strongly bond. Okay, sometimes when you see when we see the construction works, sometimes the cement can overlap the bricks structure. The same way, there are slight disadvantage for this also. That is, advantages like it's strong and stable linkages, they reusable, we can use it many times, but we use harsh chemicals in this time, and this may reduce the enzyme activity. As I just said to you, right? The brick big structure can be overlapped. The same way, enzyme has a particular structure like having active site and other binding sites. So in this way, if we block any of the site or any of the conformational changes happens the enzyme, then the activity will be affected. So our main motto or our main goal is to have immobilized enzymes, and for that, and they need to be work efficiently. To work efficiently, they should have a proper structure, and then only they can give all their potential or enzymatic activity. When we use these kind of chemicals, they interrupt with the enzymatic activity, and that's one of the disadvantages for this covalent bonding method. And for the image, we can just refer this image. It's correct only here, like this one. But just specify when you are having a support here. Just specify the bond here, like this, the two lines bond, just so that these are the covalent bonds, which is like stabilizing the enzymes with it, the support system. And then the third method is entrapment. Sorry, cross-linking. In this method, as the name suggests, we are going to link two things here. Enzymes are linked to each other using a bifunctional reagent. Bifunctional reagent is such a reagent which has two functional sites or two functional parts here. They can interact with two groups simultaneously. And we use reagents like glutaraldehyde to form an insoluble enzyme aggregates. Okay, when they are connected, the enzymes are connected to each other, they form insoluble enzyme aggregates. For example, imagine standing in a line, holding hands, and then locking their arms together. They form a human chain, right? That cannot be easily broken. And the advantages here is that we don't use any kind of material or support material for that, and they are having a very stable bonding. And sometimes we may have disadvantages, that is this like holding the hands. When you hold someone's hand, the structure or something, the chain is right. So in the same way, in this it has disadvantages that they may distort the enzyme structure and reduce the activity or lower the activity of the enzyme. Here we can see the image of it. That is, we can see how the enzymes are being cross-linked to each other, and there is no need for any support system here. And the next method comes, that is entrapment. I will show you here itself. We are going to have a matrix here, and the enzymes are entrapped or trapped inside this. So coming to the definition or explanation part here. Here the enzymes are trapped inside a polymeric gel or a fibrous matrix, example alginate, polyacrylamides and gelatin. Substrates or products can diffuse in and out, but the enzyme remain trapped in. So when we have trapping the enzymes inside it, okay, they may have the gel inside the gel, they may have some pores here, okay. The substrate comes in, it interacts, like it meets and talks with the enzyme, and it reacts with it, and then forms the product. So these are the concept of entrapment. To think or to understand it, it's something like it's like a jail. Okay, it's jail. So like a jail, and the prisoners are the enzymes are locked inside, while people are the substrate, and the product can come in and come out through the gates, and that's how they interacted. Advantage of this method is that there will be no leakage of enzymes, and that is a very very important point. We need to immobilize the enzyme. There is no leakage here, and it protects the enzyme structure and everything. Then the disadvantage is that because of this gel, the movement of the substrate and products may be a little bit slow. Okay, depends on the gel or the matrix which we use. It depends on that. And the last method is encapsulation. In this method, enzymes are enclosed in semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane means that it allows only particular contents to come in and go out. It's like semi-permeable, not fully permeable or not non-permeable. It's semi-permeable, means it allows only few things into it. Or microcapsules, that is liposomes and nylon and cellulose. We use like that. Think of it like a tablet capsule. The medicine is sealed inside it, but it can slowly come out when needed in our body. And this process is having a high protection for the enzymes, and it prevents the enzyme loss. It's like more highly protected than the entrapment method. But the disadvantage is that it's very costly, and sometimes there can be diffusion barriers. To see the image of this encapsulation, we can see here. These are the semi-permeable membrane, which is like orange color one, semi-permeable membrane, and the enzymes are being capsulated inside the microcapsule. In this way, the enzymes are protected and they can be effectively used for it. And so enzyme immobilization is a smart technique that makes enzymes more useful for industries. We learned about 5 methods, that is adsorption, covalent bonding, cross-linking, entrapment, encapsulation. I gave you a few examples for that also. And with that, we complete the concept of technique of enzyme immobilization. I hope you liked this video. Thank you all for watching till now. Thank you so much.